Hey guys,
Morning.
good
Hey,
morning.
how
How
are
was
you
your weekend?
guys? Another episode of Weekly Sip we have
Yeah,
for everyone today. We
Yeah.
were considering the topics for today, and we decided on talking through retirement plans for companies that do not have them as we speak right now. So going through the very general, big picture options for a employer that wants to set up a retirement plan for their business. So we thought that that would be a good topic for today. So, Skylar, you want to start with the different, very general options that a business could look at?
Yeah, so we could start small and then go big. A couple of different options. For Marylanders at least, there is a state-sponsored retirement plan called Maryland Saves, which is going to work similar to a Roth IRA setup, but it gives you employer payroll deduction contributions are available. So that would be something that an employer could set up through MD Saves website. Another good option would be a simple IRA is another plan where that's going to work like a pre-tax or a traditional IRA with a little bit of a higher contribution limit than a regular standard IRA that works independently from the contribution limits of regular IRAs. Then you have your SEP IRA, which could be a good option for a solo entrepreneur. And then if you do have some employees, that might be a good option as well, depending on how much employer contribution you want to do. Then you have Solo K, which would just be for individual people or married couples. And then you could do a 401k plan as well. So Maryland Saves, simple IRA or SEP IRA, and then you have your Solo K or your 401k, depending on how many participants that you have on the plan.
Yeah, one of the items that we help our clients with is navigate the pros and cons of all those different options. And some businesses would not, have some of those available, like what you said, Skylar. The set might not be available because the employer contribution would be too high for the employees. So it'd be too costly to um, not administer per se, but there'd be too much employer money involved in that retirement plan. And then the solo K, if you have an employee that's not your spouse or yourself, solo K is out. And another nuance of comparing simple IRA with 401k would be a 401k is going to be more costly for a couple of reasons. Mainly, you have to employ a third-party administrator, and a 5500 form would need to be filed each year, which is similar to a 1040 on the individual per se. You have to file a 1040 every year. The 401k needs to file 5500 every year. So you need to employ a third-party administrator when a 401k is involved. So that's one of the, I would say, cons of a 401k is it's going to be more costly because you have more people involved.
Would you say 401ks are for larger businesses where like a SEP or a simple would be for more of the smaller businesses? Like, is there a certain number of participants that have to actually qualify, or you'll be qualified to do the 401k, or do you have any idea if there's any type of rules?
Yeah, so if simple IRAs, you can't have a plan if you have more than 100 participants.
Mm.
So, that's 100 employees, that is, not 100 participants. So a company with even 100 employees is still considered small for small business retirement plans, but that could be a fairly larger business. If I was going to set up a retirement plan just to have something, I would go and not have any employer contribution requirement. I just wanted to be able to have something for employees to set up at the lowest cost. I would consider that Maryland Saves program or any particular state sponsored program that you have. And then from there, I would probably look at the simple IRA. The contribution limit is $16,000, and then there's a 50 plus catch up. The simple IRA does require an employer contribution, and that's either 2% to everybody, non-elective, or you could do a matching contribution up to 3% of what employee compensation is. And so, kind of next size there would be the SEP IRA, which I think is better depending on your number of employees and how much you as a company want to contribute, because the contribution limit is $69,000 per participant, but that's limited to 25% of compensation. And there's a couple of different formulas for how you would base employee contributions relative to what the owner of the company's contribution is. Was sort of one of the in a general sense, the way that you would think about it is that if the employer is contributing 25% of what their wages are, then there would need to be a 25% contribution for what all of the employees' wages are. And it's only employer contributions in that SEP IRA. So if you're an employer and you have a couple of employees and you guys are tight knit and you're making a 25% contribution for yourself as the owner, and you're comfortable making a 25% salary contribution for your employees, then the SEP really works. But if you have a lot of different employees and you also want to participate by making contributions, you're going to be required to make a large contribution for all of those employees, just as you would. So there's not really a lot of administrative costs for a simple IRA or a SEP IRA, but the employer contribution from a salary expense cost can be significantly higher with the SEP IRA as compared to the simple, which would be limited to just 3% of what the employee's salary is. Then you have the 401k plan, which actually allows you to save a higher contribution. It's $23,000 versus just the 16 that the simple allows. There's a catch up of $7,500. So if you're over 50, then you can do a $30,500 contribution to the plan. So it's almost double of what you could do at inside of a simple plan. The match has to be a little bit better. If you're going to be using a safe harbor 401k, which allows employers to make the contribution regardless of the plan participation of all of the different participants, and that contribution limit would be a 3% non-elective contribution, or a matching contribution up to 3%. 100 at a 100% matching rate, and then 50% to up to 5%. So if the participants contribute 5%, the matching contribution is 4%. So it's about a 1% increase in non-elective or matching than that of the simple IRA. So if a higher salary expense because there's a 1% higher match, generally speaking, of the 401k versus the simple. In addition to the added administrative costs. So I do think that the simple would be my next step if I had a lot of employees that I want to provide a benefit for, and still keep the cost down, because there's not really any administrative cost of the simple IRA that's paid for by the employer versus the 401k.
A lot of good information. There's gonna be a quiz later.
Yeah.
No, that's why it's like so important to have an advisor to help navigate this
Yeah.
this whole world, because it's
And really, as an employer too, is like simple IRA is less known by participants or employees in the workforce. 401k is a much more popular retirement plan style. So in terms of like cachet or sort of brand awareness of 401k, a 401k might help you attract a higher more employees. If you're looking at hold and retain employees, 401k might appear better, it looks better than a simple IRA. and also has different features available in terms of the ability to make Roth contributions versus only pre-tax. But you know, if you're just getting started and you want to do something where you're going to be providing a match, simple IRA would probably be a good place to start.
Good stuff. All right,
All right,
guys.
well, thank you all. I guess
Yeah.
the moral of the story is, to your point, Julie, it's important to have an advisor you can talk through the pros and cons with, because there are a bunch of variables that need to be considered when making this decision. So let us know if you need help with that.
Yeah, it's one thing to make the decision on which plan to pick, and then the next step is actually, you know, getting it all together and putting it into place. And that's where we can help out a lot.
Absolutely.
Right.
All right, guys.
All right,
everybody.
have a good week.
You too.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.